So today we're going to talk about why Caitlin Clark may get a bad whistle and why A'ja Wilson, JuJu Watkins, and Angel Reese get a great whistle. Hello, everybody, and welcome to our channel. I'm Mark.
And I'm Rob.
So, hey, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do so, hit the notification bell when you do so you get notified of our next video. And join us for our live show, which is now Caitlin Clark's crossover. It's a forum like Sports Reporters. It's every Monday from 6 to 7 Eastern Time and Thursdays from 5:30 to 6:30 Eastern Time. And then there's a live show that takes place after that. We have other Caitlin Clark podcasters that come and join us. It's pretty cool. So, Rob, I'm not going to make the argument that Caitlin Clark got a bad whistle in college because I thought she got a fair whistle in college, except for those first two tournaments in the NCAA tournament her senior year when they were mauling her and hooking her and grabbing her. Yeah. And they didn't call any fouls until the second half. Except for that, I thought she got a fair whistle. In fact, in college, she went to the line 6.84 times in her career. But in the WNBA, she's only gone to the line 4.5 times. Gee, I wonder why there's a difference there. JuJu Watkins from Caitlin Clark's a shooting guard, but they both play guards. It's not like they both play have a different position underneath the basket. She averages 8.3 this year and 8 during her freshman year. And so they take similar number of shots too. So that's, what's going on there. She gets a better whistle than Caitlin Clark did in college, and Caitlin Clark got a fair whistle. And she's getting a good whistle in college. And I've watched JuJu Watkins' game, and I see a foul called, and they show the replay, and there's no foul, but she got the call, or she'll get the and one. So she's getting a nice whistle. And everybody seems to think that, except for maybe JuJu Watkins fans. Now, in terms of Angel Reese, it's not so much that she's getting foul calls a lot when she shoots. She's not getting called for fouls. When she goes for rebounds, she goes over the top of people. She hip checks people. She elbows people out of the way. And, yeah, that's all part of good rebounding if you can get away with it. But she's getting away with it, Rob.
Well, in Caitlin Clark's place, like Too Short says, I don't know if you know who Too Short is, Mark, but he's Bay Area rapper, and he's got a song called Blow the Whistle. And every time I hear that song, I think about Caitlin Clark, blow the whistle. And it has a whistle, blow the whistle. Because, even at least even it out, but to be, and then the right, it's not like it's right in front of their faces. Not the flagrant ones are right in front of their faces, so they're not going to call it regular fouls.
Right. And A'ja Wilson gets 7.2 free throws per game, which is pretty good. Not quite as good as JuJu, but let's harken back to the game against the Aces. I guess it was the second time they played them that year, but near the end of the game, they played them twice within a few days. And the Fever had won 5 out of 6 games. And Caitlin Clark had been on a roll since the Olympic break. And there was actual talk about Caitlin Clark winning the MVP. And the only way that was going to happen is if Caitlin Clark had 2 really good games against the Aces and the Fever beat the Aces both times. Because already, before the season started, A'ja Wilson was anointed the MVP. So the chances were really, really small. But if they were going to happen in that small chance, Caitlin Clark had to have 2 big games and A'ja Wilson had to have 2 subpar games, and the Fever had to win both games. Well, the refs made sure that didn't happen, Rob. And I'm going to show you. If you watch the game, you'll see there was phantom calls against Aaliyah Boston. All right, so you can see here in this game, and it's not just that she got 0 foul calls against her, Rob. You can see by the arrow here, it's 0 calls. And I'll go over here and I'll scroll down and you'll see there's Aaliyah Boston. They were covering each other the whole game. And how many fouls do you think she got, Rob?
She got 5.
She got 6.
Yeah, she fouled it out.
No, she got 6 fouls.
She fouled it out.
6 fouls. If you can't see it, I'll lower that down. She had 6 fouls and only played 28 minutes, and she played not a lot in the third quarter, but she ended up ending with 28 minutes because they took her out. But they showed one of the replays on one of the shots, and it was Aaliyah Boston didn't even look at her, and she got called for a foul. So there were phantom foul calls against Aaliyah Boston, and no matter what A'ja Wilson did defensively, it was never a foul. Never. I'm not saying A'ja Wilson didn't play better defense than Aaliyah Boston and committed fewer fouls than Aaliyah Boston, but it wasn't 6-0. Let's just put it that way.
But going back to Caitlin Clark's
Go ahead, Rob.
and JuJu Watkins, JuJu Watkins' game is a little bit different than Caitlin. She does know how to draw the foul. She'll come down the court and she knows how to initiate the contact. So, and she drives in a little bit more than Caitlin does. Caitlin does settle for the shooting outside more, and then when she does drive, she should get the foul call. But with JuJu Watkins' game, her game is a little more penetration and drawing the foul. That's probably why she shoots more free throws than Clark.
Well, I've seen her drive to the basket, and she got phantom calls every time I've seen her play.
No, I'm comparing.
I get it.
How often?
I'm going also by my eye, by the replays that I see, because sometimes it's hard to tell whether there's a foul unless you see the replay and you get two different angles and things like that. But she's got a friendly whistle. A'ja Wilson has a friendly whistle. Angel Reese has a friendly whistle. And Caitlin Clark has the worst whistle in the history of basketball that I've watched since 1969. And I'm not exaggerating. I honestly think that. And I don't think she had a bad whistle in college. I thought she had a fair whistle. So it's not like I think she had an awful whistle her entire career, just when she got in the WNBA. And I can't figure out why. What's different about these three women than Caitlin Clark. It's kind of hard to see.
No, it's not hard to see, Mark. But I mean, like I said, I'm just saying with her game, she's got to. If she wants to get the foul call, she's got to drive a little bit more. I've watched her game. And maybe the reason why, like I'll go with your theory. The reason why she won't drive is because she knows she's not going to get the call.
Yeah,
she's like, why am I going to drive? So why if I drive, I'm not going to get the call. So why should I drive to the basket?
When she does drive to the basket, she doesn't get any call. She gets hit in the head, and there's no foul call. I wouldn't drive anymore after that either.
Right. So that's what happens. Yeah.
So, but she drove a lot in college. So, and she's good, and she can draw fouls. She knows how to draw fouls. So it's not like she has no talent to draw fouls. I know JuJu's good at it, but she's also getting a friendly whistle. You know, they breathe on her, and she gets a foul call sometimes. Same thing with A'ja Wilson. And
I've noticed with referees sometimes, which drives me nuts, they'll anticipate the foul. So, like you said, if the person's driving and they all of a sudden they go, oh, foul. I'm like, wait a minute. The person hasn't even hit them yet. How do you're anticipating I'm going to hit the person?
That happens to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark does a reach and foul. There's barely any contact that normally you wouldn't call a foul. They call a foul anyways. First foul that she got in her WNBA career, Rob.
Yeah, I saw it. It was a phantom foul.
I think Caitlin Clark tried to get out of the person's way and just had a slight reach, and it looked like there was no contact. She got called for a foul, and even Rebecca Lobo said, well, it looked like she was getting out of her way. Why did they call a foul?
Yeah.
Second foul she got, they were both going for the ball. Caitlin Clark maybe went a little bit more towards the ball than the other person did. Foul again. Later on, she had a phantom foul again in that game. First game, she had 2 phantom fouls for sure. Foul calls for sure. They were making sure, Rob, that she wasn't getting off to a good start. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, like I said, Mark, like we said in previous videos, hopefully they revamp the refereeing and with the coach who would stick by her players, unlike the last coach she had sides didn't stick by her. Also with the technical foul, so it's very frustrating. Mark, I don't know if you haven't played basketball as many years as I did. It's very frustrating when you're not getting the call, and some of it's. I mean, I watched the Lakers-Knicks game last night, and the Lakers and Doncic was whining and complaining about this and that, and the Lakers were. But I mean, some of it's like. It gets very frustrating for a player, and that's why you get a technical. That was Caitlin Clark's thing.
I want to address that because you've said that in the past that she's got to stop complaining because that'll tick off a ref, and then the ref won't give her the calls because she complains too much. I get that. Adrienne Ross said that on the show. She's not getting the calls, and that was the first thing she said. She was a former coach because she's complaining too much, and I didn't push back on that in the show, but I'm going to say it now because I've said it before in previous videos. If you're getting the worst whistle in the history of basketball, it's pretty frustrating. And I don't see how you can not react to the not getting the call. I just don't see how you can not react. Yeah, it might tick off the ref, but they're not giving her the call anyway. So they weren't giving her the call before she started complaining. So do you really think she's not getting the call because she's complaining? They weren't giving it to her anyways.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think if I was her age, I would be able to handle not getting the calls as often as she got. So I
Well,
think she's handling just fine, considering she's getting the worst whistle ever.
where Adrian and I were coming from as coaches, that's our job. So I always told my players that. I mean, yeah, you get upset, but that's my job as a coach to approach the referees because I need you on the court. I need you on the court to play. And so I'll be the one. So as a player, if you get the coach has your back, like Sides didn't do, that's why she got most of her technical fouls, because Sides should have been, as soon as it happened, the coach, she should have like jumped in like, hey, wait a minute, where's the foul?
Right.
Right instead of having Caitlin, getting the and then push her away, whatever. But like I said, coaches got to take first. Players don't get involved in that.
Right, and I agree with all that. And as we know, Christy Sides did not have the back of the players for fouls, especially for Caitlin Clark, who she should have been fighting the hardest for because she's her star player, and she was also getting screwed over the most on fouls. So your point by you and Adrian is correct, except for the fact that it was an impossible situation for Caitlin Clark.
And the most flagrant fouls, Mark. I mean, not this. I mean, she wasn't getting the fouls called, and even the flagrant ones. She's standing there on the sidelines like do. I'm like, no, my freaking best player, as my franchise player gets knocked to the ground. You're not calling anything. Like I sauld, I probably would have got thrown out of the game.
Rob would have thrown his clipwood. He would have said, "Give me a technical," just like on Hoosiers, and he would have got thrown out of the game.
They copied me. Yeah. Just like
you would have gotten several technicals this year if you were the head coach, Rob. All on Caitlin Clark, probably, because most of the calls, or even against Leah Boston, that game against the Aces, you would have gone ballistic against that.
Yeah,
when she was getting screwed over against Asia.
And then when you do that, the players know they have your back. So then, like I said, they can focus. It takes her focus off the game. That's probably why sometimes she wasn't out of the game, because she's too worried and focusing about and upset about the referees. So, but when you have someone, the coach, right in, who's just step right in, then she can like focus in. Okay, coach has got this. I can just go back to my game.
And I could show you all sorts of videotape to prove all these circumstances that I'm talking about, these specific foul calls. But you've all seen it, and you've all seen the videotapes before. And then you say I'm cherry picking if I do it. So I'm not going to put up 38 different foul situations that are up there. But it's out there. It's all on tape. Videotape doesn't lie, Rob. The internet doesn't forget either.
Yeah.
So you can think I'm delusional, but I think I'm being fair, because I thought she got a fair, whistle in college, except for those two halves. And I think she's got a disgustingly bad whistle since she was in the WNBA, because we all know why. Because she was the white woman getting all this attention and money, and they wanted to hold her down, and they're trying to protect the sisterhood. And all these other three players I'm talking about just happen to be black. They want JuJu Watkins to replace Caitlin Clark, so they wanted her to play as well as possible and to do as well as possible. We all know what's going on here. They wanted Angel Reese to get the Rookie of the Year. They want to promote her as the best player, and they want A'ja Wilson to keep her position as best player. I'm saying that this is partly racial. There's no question about it.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty obvious. I mean, you didn't have to, like I said, it's very obvious. But like I said, it really, I won't say it really is not fair to her as a player. She's doing nothing except wanting to play basketball, which is kind of sad. It makes it sad for the trends, goes from society into sports. Just leave that out of it.
But there is some good news, Rob. There is good news that she has a new coach this year, Coach White, who has more respect from the refs and also didn't get in their faces more. She's probably going to get more technicals. And, maybe the refs are going to lay off her a little bit. She's not a rookie anymore. I think that rule's stupid. I think the rookies and the veterans should get the same exact call. But I think it'll be better this year. But it's still not, I don't think she's ever going to get a great whistle. Let's be honest about this.
But you know what, Mark? And if she does, it's going to happen. Oh, they're just favoring her because
the white princess. You can't touch her.
Yeah, they can't touch her. Oh, if you like, what did A'ja Reese say? Like, you can't breathe on her or whatever. They'll complain about that too.
Yeah, she has a special whistle. Not a special whistle. Yeah, Angel Reese got the best whistle of all the rookies, Rob, from what I saw. So she's full of it, and we all know it.
Special whistle.
So we'll see what happens this year. Go watch her on the Unrivaled. There's videotape of her with the rebounds and elbowing the Nafisa Collier down to the ground and no call and things like that. Go watch it. It's all there. Yeah. In that game where the Fever lost to Chicago Sky, when Alyssa Smith, she's not a good defender, but if you go watch the game, especially in the second half, the fourth quarter, Alyssa Smith would like back up and she got called for a foul. It was actually a charge by Angel Reese. Angel Reese would go over her back, no foul call. She got a really friendly whistle in that game, and that's one of the reasons they lost by the 1 point. If they'd called the whistle properly, even though the Fever, blew the lead on their own too, they would have won that game.
Right.
So I mean, she does get a special whistle. JuJu Watkins, Asia Wilson, and Angel Reese all get really nice whistles, and Caitlin Clark gets a terrible whistle. That's all I'm trying to say. Let us know if you agree down below.
Mark. We'll see, Mark. Come out. Let's play that Too Short song. Blow the whistle. Blow the whistle.
And Rob, and just so you know, Rob not only was a basketball player and a coach, he was a ref. And are you agreeing with what I'm saying about these whistles, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just said it. Some referees they anticipate the call,
right?
Or they just say they look the other way, or I mean they kind of gauge how the game is. They can dictate the game. If it's a rival game, they're going to call it tight. But I mean that's the whole thing. The major thing from referee to coach, you kind of say like, okay, just be consistent. Just be consistent. That's all I care about. If you're going to call that call down at the other end, and then you don't call it for my team, that's not consistent. So that's good. That's annoying.
Right. And Rob, she's getting a poor whistle in both ways. She's getting hacked. She's getting grabbed and clawed and hooked and hit in the head. And she's not getting any of those foul calls. What she does is a little bit of contact when she reaches in, boom, whistle. She gets called for travels that no one else gets called for. There's kickballs that aren't called in the opponents, and she throws and they kick and they don't call it. They just look the other way. She got 6 technicals, and only one that I can see should have been called a technical. The first one, she said, that's an effing foul. That's a technical, no problem. The second one, it looks like she barely said anything to the ref. She got a technical. She got 2 star fouls that Dinah Crossy didn't get.
What a brute she is. What a bully. I mean, she that poor stanchion. I mean,
her 6th one was against Vivian, against Seattle. And what happened was Caitlin Clark. Now, when you see the game, you don't see this angle. Someone was in the fans and was filming the game. What happened was Caitlin Clark took a 3, and Vivian starts going up court but hesitates, and Caitlin Clark turns into her. And Vivian doesn't know that Caitlin Clark turned into her. So she thinks she was pushing her for no reason when it was an accident. So Vivian knocks her. You can see her hand go like almost to her neck, and Caitlin Clark, gets in her face after that, and they both got technicals. That's not a technical. Someone hit you in the neck, you get in their face. That's not a technical. So out of her 6 technicals, 5 shouldn't have got him. I know the other one. And Rob and I disagree on this one. But the woman wasn't grabbing her arm. The woman she was dribbling, and the woman hooked her arm. She hooked her arm, and Caitlin Clark just threw her off the hook, which players do all the time and don't get called for fouls, and hit her in the face. And she got called for a technical on that. It's an accident. She shouldn't hook she shouldn't hook her. You shouldn't hook a player. Shouldn't get away with that. If a person hooks you, you're gonna. That's what happens.
Mark, unfortunately, in all the calls and all the technicals, the person who initiates it never gets called. It's always a second reaction.
A grab. It was a hook. And how do you get a hook off of someone besides using a lot of force? And if you're going to use a lot of force, sometimes you hit the person in the face. That's just what happens when a person hooks you from behind.
Yeah, that's why they called it. I mean, it's always a second act. Always it gets caught.
Well, whatever. All right, let us know what you think down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit the notification bell when you do, so you get notified of our next video. If you like this video, hit the like button and feel free to share it with your family, friends, and acquaintances. And join us for our new show. Monday is our 3rd show on Monday night, and we had one on Thursday for the first time. It's called Caitlin Clark's Crossover. It's like a sports reporter type show with me as the host, and Rob's going to be there sometimes. And there's a forum, and all we do is talk about Caitlin Clark and things related to women's basketball. It's pretty cool. It's part of our live show. It's 6 to 7 Eastern time. The live show continues after that, except for major holidays. Thursday, it's 5:30 to 6:30. The live show continues after that. Again, except for major holidays. If you want to donate to the channel, you can. The super chats and super thanks down below. And there's a link to PayPal. And we'll see you in the next video.
Peace out.